Hello everyone, MasterChief89 here from Ape Supremacy Entertainment with episode 5 of Metal Gear Saga called Loyalty to the End. So let's do a quick recap of our mission now. The problem with a brief stint in Russia was that Colonel Volgin launched a nuke while at the same time an American plane was flying over the area of the blast. Because no one believes that a Russian countryman would nuke his own country, the chairman of the Soviet leadership has demanded a couple of things from the United States president. Number 1, assassinate the boss in order to prove America's innocence in the entire affair. Why does this prove its innocence? In the era of the Cold War, with agents defecting left and right, it's an all too convenient lie to use against the opposition, claiming that an agent has defected. It's pretty much what presidents do in times of foreign politics crisis. This is called plausible deniability, meaning that a faction of the military or any given spy agency was operating on its own without directly informing the commander-in-chief about it. The Soviets, however, will only believe that is the case if America themselves take out said spy or defector, signaling they have no further plans with them. The boss would be officially rendered useless to the United States. Number 2 is that Khrushchev wants to get rid of Colonel Volgin, who is plotting to overthrow the current government for an even more nationalist faction of the Soviet Party, which is basically another display of good faith. The third objective, however, is distinctively American. Major Zero wants to exfiltrate Sokolov because they believe he is of value. He is a valuable asset to their side, because he is a great scientist. Now, soon I will trigger an outstanding cutscene. I advise you to follow the dialogue, since it gives you a lot of answers while also raising tons of questions. Enjoy!
Looks like death wasn't ready for you yet.
Boss.
That arm still hurt?
What are you doing here?
Go home. Go home. Gru and my sons are waiting up ahead. You don't have a prayer of finishing your mission. You're not even armed.
Boss!
I'm not your boss anymore. There's nothing for you here. Go home. Go back to your boss. There's no need to prove that you are virtuous here. This isn't America. That should stir things up a bit. You'd better hurry. The border is 60 miles south of here. You ought to be able to run that far.
Why'd you defect?
I didn't. I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings? You don't know the truth yet. But sooner or later you'll have to choose. I don't expect you to forgive me. But you can't defeat me either. You know me too well. Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long. If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.
Awesome! Totally gives me the shivers!
This is Snake. Major Zero.
I read you, Snake.
I was ambushed by the boss.
You were what?
The drone's been shot to hell. It's up in flames.
That's not good. Enemy scouts are gonna come looking for you.
Yeah, I know. But what was the boss doing here in the first place? There's gotta be a leak somewhere.
No, that's impossible. The man the boss is working with, Volgin, isn't exactly on speaking terms with Khrushchev.
I lost my gun. The boss destroyed it.
Snake, I know how you're feeling. It's hard for me to believe, too, that a legendary hero like the boss would go over to the Russians. That she'd double-cross us like this. But that's how it is, and if you don't accept it, you'll never be able to beat her.
That's not the problem. In terms of sheer technique, I'll never be able to beat her. I know that all too well.
You've got to do it, Snake. She's your enemy and your objective.
Enemy? We were together for 10 years, and now you tell me she's my enemy?
Enough. Hurry to the factory where Adam is waiting. Scouts have probably already been sent out to investigate the explosion. You've lost your weapon, right? That means you've got no chance of winning in a battle situation. Whatever you do, don't let them see you.
So first of all, yes, Snake could have just shot her right then and there and completed his mission. Why didn't he? He still hasn't wrapped his head around the idea of the boss being an enemy of his. He doesn't feel it inside of his heart. This scene has a lot of similarities to Empire Strikes Back if you think about it. When Luke confronts Vader at the end, he is so not ready. Vader and the boss know this, but Luke and Snake don't. I'm trying to translate her monologue into something more understandable, which is easy enough since I'm not very literate. When the boss says, "Go home, go back to your bosses," she actually confronts Snake with a simple question. Why did you accept this mission if you are not prepared to kill me? In other terms, to quote a line from Metal Gear Solid 1, Snake, what are you fighting for? Snake then responds by asking, why'd you defect? The boss then surprisingly answers, I didn't defect because I am not on either side. I do what I think is right. That is what she is saying. She then enforces her argument by asking Snake a series of questions. If he were obliged to answer them, he'd basically come up with, well, you're stupid, because he doesn't know. This is the reason why Snake and the entire story of Metal Gear Solid 3 is so fucking intriguing. There is not only the threat of nuclear weapons, awesome Cold War spy stuff, and some big bad that needs killing, but there is a very clear personal conflict of the protagonist. Now that I have cleared everything, I hope at least, about the story that is important, let's just talk about the gameplay a bit here. First of all, you see here it's quite important to switch the camouflage stuff, and the way they did it in here is actually a bit annoying, because you always have to open up the menu and change and go back, and loading times and everything. It's a bit too complicated actually. It would have been better if there was the possibility to somehow switch it on the fly. Like if you could put them into your inventory and make him switch instantly, like with a flick of a switch. But what I really like about this game is how careful you have to tread through the forest, because there are enemies everywhere. Also, they do a great job of creating tension. If you are not really a fan of these like sneaking games, I'm probably not gonna convince you why they are awesome, but here's why I love sneaking games like Metal Gear Solid, or also Splinter Cell, which I think is just a really great series. The thing is, in these sneaking games, most of the time you are really weak. You can't fight off like 10 guys at once. And that is why you have to sneak around, knowing that if you get caught, you are in big trouble. Now, when you are sitting here, like I am right now, I look at my meter upstairs, up on the right corner, and there I see a big 90%, and I'm just begging to God that 90% is enough for me to be camouflaged enough so that the guy I'm now following cannot see me. Because I know without weapons as well, there's no chance of me beating the support if he gets to call it. So you're just constantly under pressure, trying to adapt and hoping to God that the enemy does not see you. And that is a different kind of tension opposed to like the tension you feel when you play a game like, for example, Call of Duty, when everything is blowing up around you and you, oh my God, am I gonna make it, even though you know you are going to make it, because these games are just designed to take you by the hand and get you to the finish line. And in here, what you do is that what you do and how you play actually matters to your progress, which is just doesn't in most modern games. Also, the Uncharted series is kind of at fault with this concept, because really you can't fail all too much, and the pressure of failure is, and the challenge that you don't want to fail, is actually something that modern games are lacking, I think. Dark Souls, for example, is completely different. You are always fearing that you fail at everything. And that is why Dark Souls is so fucking great. Now, this is actually the facility where we found Sokolov first. There is going to be a cutscene very soon that has nothing to do with the subplot, if you want to call it that, about, you know, loyalty and beliefs and everything, but this is just pure spy stuff. This is really just Cold War spy stuff pulled off in what I think is pretty much perfect fashion. That is why Metal Gear Solid 3 is so great, because it doesn't only have the message, it also has interesting story.
Sorry I'm late.
Cut the engine. They'll hear us.
Are you the agent they sent?
Are you Adam? I thought you were supposed to be a man.
Adam couldn't make it.
All right, say the password. Who are the Patriots? Who are the Patriots? Answer me! Trapped.
Get down! There is your answer. The name's Eva.
This wasn't part of the plan. What happened to Adam?
What's your code name?
It's Snake.
Snake, huh? Well, I'm Eva. Are you here to tempt me?
What happened to Adam?
Colonel Volgan is a very suspicious man. He decided Adam wasn't the right person for this mission.
And you were.
Yes,
Why?
because I can do things he can't.
I heard you used to be a codebreaker for the NSA.
I was. 4 years ago, I defected to the Soviet Union with Adam.
Mauser military. The broom handle.
It packs quite a punch. Nice to have when you're on a bike.
You held it sideways and used the muzzle jump to create a horizontal sweep. That was impressive.
Bet you've never seen that technique in the West.
It's imitation, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a Chinese Type 17 pistol. Around here, even that's hard to come by. Don't worry, though. The one I've got for you is American-made.
.45, huh? Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized. Where'd you get something like this?
I grabbed it from a Western munitions armory. It probably used to belong to one of your officers, and there are more where that came from. You had this with you, didn't you? Better take this too.
What's that?
A disguise to make you look like a scientist.
A disguise?
Yes. You're here to rescue Sokolov, right?
Sokolov's still safe then.
Yes. He's being forced to continue his work on the Shagohod.
Where?
At the lab. They've got a whole army of scientists there developing new weapons. Security is tight, but if you disguise yourself as a scientist, you might be able to sneak in.
Can we get Sokolov out of there?
We'll see, won't we?
Tell me how to get to the lab.
The safest way in is from the rear. First, you'll need to head north through the jungle. You'll come to a heliport used for shipping materials. Pass the heliport and continue north, and there will be a large crevice. Descend into that area and you'll reach a cave. Move through the cave and you will arrive at a mangrove swamp. After the swamp, there'll be a warehouse. Make your way through the warehouse and you'll come out just south of the lab.
Got it.
And just what are you doing there?
In close-range combat, a knife can sometimes be more useful than a gun. By doing this, I'll be able to hold a knife at the same time and still keep the gun steady. That way, I can instantly switch between a gun battle and a knife fight. Right, let's get going.
Wait a minute.
What now?
You must be tired. Why don't you take a little rest?
I'll be fine.
You'll never make it in your condition. It's a jungle out there. There's still an hour before dawn. It's dangerous to be out in the jungle at night without a guide.
What about you?
I have to get back. I can't be gone for too long. They'll start to suspect something. Don't worry. I'll keep you updated over the radio.
That's it?
My orders are to provide you with information, nothing more. You look disappointed. All right, then. I'll do something special for you. I'll stand watch until dawn. Now be a good boy and lie down. What's the matter?
I don't know you well enough to trust you.
How well do you have to know me to trust me?
I don't know if I can trust anybody.
Gonna get that?
Just a few last remarks. What drives the story most in Snake Eater is the fact that all characters have some really shady motivations. Thank you for watching this episode of Metal Gear Saga. I hope you had fun. If you have any questions whatsoever, post them in the comments, and if not, please like and subscribe for more Metal Gear Saga, Fight Night Friday, and all the other stuff we release. Bye bye!
So do yourself a favor and take a nap.